Okay, welcome to another episode of Seeds of Music. I'm your host, Kyle Williams, and this is the #1 web show where aspiring independent artists, musicians, and producers can learn right now how to gain wider exposure, grow a strong base of raving fans, and make a living doing what they love. Today on the show, we have John Landers with the Big Apple Indie Music Series, and what we're going to talk about is how to network and get your music showcased in New York City, the Big Apple. And John has 25 years of experience in marketing and has created a group called Creative Group LLC, where he did most of his manufacturing marketing and then moved on to the Big Apple Indie Music Series to promote his passion, which is music, because he's also a songwriter himself. So stick around. We got some great information coming up in here, and hope to see you in the comment sections afterwards. Okay, guys, welcome to another episode of Seeds of Music. I have with us John Landers. John, thanks for coming on the show.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
And for you guys that don't know, I mean, I always do like an intro segment beforehand, but John here has like a huge amount of experience in marketing, which is why I'm really glad to have him on the show, because one of the things that we try to do, or that I'm trying to do here with the show, is provide great information for musicians to be able to learn marketing, because it's not like a dirty word, for any kind of creative type or musician or artist. It's something you really need to know, and it's great to have someone like John on for all of your experience. So again, thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
So you have like 25 years of experience in marketing, and it's been in mostly manufacturing, and because I remember I read on your biography on your website. What are some like important lessons that you've learned during that long period, as far as like being able to market a product successfully to the right people?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, you have to know the market you're going into, the demographics. For example, I mean, we were involved with major chain stores that we used to sell to. Home Depot was one of our major accounts when we got started back in the 80s. And the key there is to know how to package it for that particular market. We actually helped some of the manufacturers with their packaging design that would fit that particular client, knowing exactly what they were looking for. And it's the communication between you, the manufacturer, and the vendor that wants your product to make sure it works correctly and gets successful.
And as far as like, when you made, because you've also done some songwriting, like when you made the transition to what you do now with the Big Apple Indie Music Series, have you really dug your hands into marketing music? I mean, have you been able to apply like all you've learned from your 25 years of previous marketing experience to that?
Yeah, in some ways. I mean, when I started in the other careers, for example, back in the early, I would say late 70s, early 80s, I got involved with a UK manufacturer that was one of the first ones out with the quicksand sanding block, for example, the braces on a sponge foam. And they had all kinds of do-it-yourself products back then that I thought was really great for this market. And what I found is that the European market was more advanced in do-it-yourself products than we were here at the time. But what I learned on my own out of necessity was, because of their short budget, was a way to get the products well known into the U.S. market by sending out news releases to all the magazines like Popular Mechanics, Better Homes and Gardens, Popular Science, and did my own promotion just from scratch, from just thinking, well, that's the only way we're going to get this known, to get it out there. So basically, it's knowing how to market yourself and what avenues you have to get to get that word out there.
And how do you apply that to the Big Apple Indie Music Series for marketing that event?
Well, okay, so today, between then and now, what's really changed everything in the way you can market is the internet. If it wasn't for the internet, there's a lot of things today you would never even hear about. So there are a lot of different ways to promote a product and or service today, including social media, There's other types of resources like prweb.com, which I've been making very successful use out of.
Okay.
You can actually put up your own news release, create it yourself, and it gives you guidelines how to do it properly. And it puts it out there to all the media. And instantly you're getting news releases out to every single media outlet that you can imagine based on your budget.
And so have you noticed a return from using that service?
Oh, absolutely. For my very first PR web I did about 2 months ago, my event now has been picked up by all the major networks, ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox. We are regular on Examiner.com for our stuff, and many other online sites have picked it up that I had never even heard of before, but are out there and promoting us. So the word of it ourselves is getting out there globally on a regular basis, and it's growing like crazy. To give you an idea, I'm getting, and I have a way to doing this through socialappshq.com. I know on a weekly basis how many times I'm mentioned on social networks, and it's grown from just a few hundred of months ago. I'm getting anywhere from 3,000 to over 9,000 plus a day now of mentions about our product, our event.
Oh, wow.
That's incredible.
And you attribute that just to these tools that you've used?
Yes, I mean between Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, and prweb.com, we're becoming viral. Mm-hmm. And what's going to help us going forward is that we're a little different than most music showcases. It's not a one-night stand for the artists to come to our events. We on our webpage we have a past events site page where once they performed at our events, they have a permanent home there, which has links to their music sites and their social sites, so it helps them help promote themselves further ongoing as we grow. And going forward, another area is that we will be developing relationships with all the major concert series in North America, like your South by Southwest, Gathering the Vibes, and so what have you, to make sure we get placement of our artists into those future gigs. It's not just a one-night stand, and that's where we really shine, and people realize that once they've come to our events. The other thing that we're doing differently is that we have this new app called spacebar.com that allows us to, for the artists, they can, it's an iPhone app, it'll be on the Droid eventually, but what it does is you hook the iPhone directly to the sound system of the event, and it allows the live stream audio for each artist's fan base globally. And the artists can choose to not charge or charge $99 to $1.99 for that privilege to listen. So that gives us a whole nother platform to get the word out. The other area is nycliverock.com. nycliverock.com is coming to our event next week, August 22nd, and I invite you to check us out. You'll be able to actually watch and be a participant of our event live at that event. You'll be able to interact with us right there as we are doing the event, whatever feedback you want to give us. If you like the artist, you don't like the artist, if you want to buy the artist a drink at the venue, it's going to be awesome. We're taking this to the next level. No one else is doing that I know of.
So it's like that just added level of interactivity, like that will bring even more exposure to artists that come on to the Big Avalanche Music Series.
Yeah, I mean, the internet has changed the playing field totally. The music scene is nothing like you've had it before. I mean, it's changing it completely, dramatically, and I'm just trying to make sure that we're the kind of the people that are making that change.
Yeah. And you've seen the transition from like a non-internet age to an internet age, especially like as far as like your marketing career goes, and now to T-BAMS or T-BAMS is for short. T-BAMS to shorten it out.
Yep.
And I mean, how did you go about learning all this internet technology?
Just by doing, really. The last 2 years I've been doing a lot of research in the development of this too. I actually made an effort. I joined up to 34 different meetup groups on meetup.com. I joined several different chamber of commerces.
Okay.
I also, and whether I joined or not, I attended a lot of different ones. I was averaging about 3 to 4 networking events per week for a long time. My wife doesn't appreciate that, but she knows where it's going. But it's really building the resources and the networking that you need to get this word out and build on it. And as a result, I've been meeting very well-connected people to the industry, and they love the idea of what I'm trying to do. I mean, I'm not here to get rich on it. I'm here as it's a passion of mine. Music is my passion. Mm-hmm. I'm here to support the artists. It's my way of paying it forward.
Yeah.
And I really want to grow this thing into a global entity.
And has that been like the main strategy you've had for making connections in the music industry? Is just going to 3 to 4 networking events a week? I mean, is that how you approached it?
Yeah, I mean, really, it's similar to sales. It's the numbers. It's a numbers game. The more people you meet, and it doesn't have to be someone directly in the industry, because you don't know who that person knows. Mm-hmm. I meet tons of attorneys, accountants, realtors, you name it, all different backgrounds. But those 1 or 2 in between that. Some realtors happen to know someone in the industry because they as a client.
They sold the house.
Yeah, or an attorney. It's not so much of who you know; it's who they know. Mm-hmm. And I believe that it's not just it's a numbers game, but it's also not the quantity of people you meet; it's the quality.
Yeah, because we're assuming you're meeting people, and it's not like you're coming at it from a genuine angle where you're trying to support indie artists. Like that's like your personal goal, and so when you meet people, it's not like you're not coming at it from this slimy angle of like, what can I get out of it? What can I get out of this interaction?
Right. I mean, I learned fast. I mean, I went to certain events during my research where most of the people in there were multi-level marketing people trying to sell you, Isogenics or whatever other product and health thing out there that they could sell you.
Yeah.
And that was not my intent. I was not interested in those people, in that or the people that were there.
Yeah.
But it's also learning how to network the right way. There's a great book called Endless Referrals by Bob Burg. That's B-U-R-G. And that taught me a lot, because one of the major things that people don't know is that when you go to meet people, it's best that you do less talking and more listening than you do trying to sell yourself and your service or product.
Yeah.
What people don't realize, and most that I've seen in networking, is that they're out there just to try and sell you something. You have to get to know the person first. You got to build a relationship, because without that, nothing's going to happen going forward.
Yeah. No, I agree. Because like a lot of for me personally, when I meet people, just whether it's a networking or just like a personal interaction, with someone on the street or whatever at work, like it's the first red flag that will go off in my head is if the person immediately jumps into talking about themselves and what they're doing, and then and never gives you the chance to speak, and that's like and usually I mean, I don't always assume that they're a certain type of person from that, but that does kind of rub you the wrong way in the beginning. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, one of the fundamental rules that I read in the book was never offer a business card unless you're asked for one, and it has a lot of good meaning to it, because you figure if the guy didn't ask you for it, chances are he's not interested in what you have to provide him anyway. So why waste your time and his?
Yeah.
You really want to do, and the other thing is if you have name badges, always just put your first name and nothing else. You want to create a dialogue. Oh, so John, who are you? What do you do? Not, oh, John, you're at this company. Oh, so, whatever. You want to build a little dialogue, get to know the person. Not so much what he does as much as why he's doing it, or maybe what other interests he's got.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe ask him. Yeah, he and she. Yeah, let's include the other half of the equation.
Right.
Yeah, and also asking someone, well, how did you get into what do you do, or what's the most enjoyable aspect? Just like asking questions that are a little bit beyond just the basic ones that everybody else wants.
What's your hobby? What are your passions in life? What are your goals? And then it's always nice after your first initial meeting to come when you come back. Say if you're going to follow up with an email, don't follow up with an email saying, "Oh, it was nice to meet you, and by the way, here's what I have to offer." If anything, nice to meet you, and by the way, why don't we meet for coffee sometime to learn a little bit more about each other's businesses and see how we can help each other. Something more of that tune than here's my service or product. By the way, this is what you can do, and here's how you can buy it. Don't do that. That's going to turn you right off the person.
Yeah. So how can all this be adapted to the musician or the independent artist? What do they need to find, like places like go to meetup.com and find like a group and then commit themselves to go several times a week? I mean, what's like something step by step? Like, let's say that I'm an artist and I'm like, I haven't done enough networking. Okay, what's the first, second, and third things I should do? I mean, what would you say those are?
Well, I think for the artists themselves, the more places they can get gigs, regardless of what the venue is, to get the to actually perform is the first step. I think that's good for any artist. The more places you can perform and get the word out and people talk about you, the better you're going to have a good future. I think that's how most artists get started.
Absolutely.
They may play some dives, but the more you play and the better you get polished with your expertise and in what you're doing, your craft, the more faster people are going to say, "Hey, those are pretty good. They sound awfully good. I think they're going someplace."
Yeah.
I'll tell you, since I started this thing, we're getting submissions on a global basis from artists all over the place. Okay. And what we're also starting to do, which is trying to control that, because I don't have time to listen to everybody's EPKs just yet right now, is that I'm working with my co-producer I just joined, who's been with me since my second month, Brian Chacoma from TalentArmyPromotions.com. Okay. And it's a new startup similar to like a Sonic Bids or a Reverb Nation, where artists can submit an EPK to be considered for, first of all, for my events, but also for other opportunities that he has going in there.
Can you define an EPK real quick for people who might not know what that is?
Electronic, performer kit, I think, or something like performing kit.
Okay.
It's basically a short bio of who you are, how you got involved in the music, and maybe some sampling of your music.
Okay. Is this also in an email?
It can be uploaded on the site and such. Yes, through the TalentArmyPromotions.com or through whatever. Okay. But that's the way to get this consideration for our events. And the goal is here too. Once we get established and well going in New York, we'll start to replicate this in all the major music cities around North America. We'll be in LA, we'll be in Miami, Nashville, you name it. We're going to start to replicate and build out as we get going forward. And eventually, of course, we'll be overseas. I've already been invited to, people want me in the UK, in Australia already, in Sydney. Mm-hmm. So I can't do that until I have the right budget, but when we have the budget going, we're going to be going everywhere we can.
Awesome. If you come to LA, you should give me a ring and we'll go grab coffee or something.
Definitely will do that. Yep. That's just a matter of time. We'll be in LA. We're going to go to San Francisco, too, because I know someone there has a venue he wants me to use.
Okay.
And I also just got I got a reach out from an artist out of Las Vegas who she's very she is well connected. She used to perform with the Rolling Stones. And she used to be a backup singer with Wayne Newton. So, they're coming out of the woodwork. That's all from my PR, my public, my marketing, and all of my efforts of getting this out through social media.
Okay, awesome. Well, I have one last really fun question here that I ask everyone.
Okay.
I always laugh because sometimes it throws people for a loop. What is your favorite album, and what would your life be like if it never existed?
Favorite album? Good point. Although I love most genres, and I go back. I mean, I grew up with the Beatles, and they're still one of my favorite. But the more recent and more current that I really I'm enjoying one heck of a lot is Lady Antebellum. those people have such a great sound. I just got their third album on my iTunes, and I'm totally enjoying it.
Okay.
It's one of the best I've heard in a long time. What talent!
I think I recall like one of the songs that was like a single. It's something o'clock. I'm all alone and I need you now, or something like that.
I need you now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That
was one of their first big hits.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
awesome. But the other two albums, it's not a track on there that we couldn't like. I mean, they're awesome sound. But again, going back to when I was going through the time when I was starting into the music, I got to go to the last Woodstock reunion in upstate New York. I'll share that with you. I spent 3 days there. And I think that's what really was the catalyst for my getting back into music. I did that as a treat to myself going through that divorce. Say, you know what, I have to get back to music, because I was a drummer in the 60s, but I lost track of that. I got away from it. I got into the business world, and I lost total track of that. So I hadn't done it since.
Oh.
But
It's never too late. You did get back into it, which is great.
So going to the Woodstock reunion, I mean, it got me. I got to see people like Guster and Rusted Root, Bruce Hornsby. I mean, this was, I think, the thing that really started me going. And I'll tell you a funny story how I actually picked up keyboard. I was at a Circuit City one day, saw a keyboard, and I pushed the demo key, and it played the theme to the James Bond movies. And I'm a big fan of James Bond, so it was the impulse. I said, I love this. I'm going to take it home and play with it. Yeah. I took it home, I labeled the keys, and then I just played by ear and started to come up with stuff out of the blue, and it got me to where I am
That's
today.
awesome. That's awesome. So you kind of just like bootstrapped your, keyboard education.
That was it. I just came back with it, and it has those little tracks in there, and I improvised some of the melodies that I came up with, and then I started writing. I mean, right now I have more lyrics than I have music. In fact, I'm also writing a book, which is a compilation of everything I've written since high school, and I'm calling it Lyrically Speaking, My Life, My Words.
Okay. When is that coming out?
Almost ready. I had it almost done, but because of the way it's going onto these ebooks, I have to redo it in some of the formats not right. So I'm hoping the next month or so.
Okay, awesome. We'll keep in touch about that. And real quick, I wanted to also ask you, for anyone watching, what's the best way to get involved with the Big Apple Indie Music Series or get their music submitted?
Again, if you want to submit as an artist, I suggest you go to talentarmypromotions.com.
Okay.
There are several different opportunities there besides ours. Just make sure you kick in the Big Apple Indie Music Series one if you want that one, or any of the others. And it's only a $15 submission fee for that, not a lot. It helps us vet out the ones, because Brian, my partner, said when he first put it out without any fees, he had one artist submit 90 different tracks. And he said he didn't have time to listen to 90 different tracks from one artist.
Yeah.
So
you need to have like payment to filter out people who aren't serious and people who do stuff like that.
Exactly. So that's the best way. Other than that, if you have any questions or you want to, and if you know anybody who'd like to be a sponsor, you can contact me at JON. Actually, let's go with the other one. CreativeJon at gmail.com. It would be the best place to go for that.
Okay, awesome, John. Thanks again for coming on, man. It's been another.
Appreciate the time too. Thanks for having me, Kyle. Appreciate it.
All right, that wraps up another interview on Seeds of Music. We had John Landers on the show with the Big Apple Indie Music Series. Make sure to check out his links below. Head over to the Big Apple Indie Music Series, and if you're interested in having your music showcased there, make sure to get in touch with them as per the guidelines supplied on the site. Next, sign up for the email newsletter. This is how I communicate with everyone, the updates that are coming on the site in the next couple of months, and also keeps you updated on any new interviews that are coming out so you don't ever miss it. You might actually be watching this from YouTube and subscribe to the channel on YouTube, but really I just use YouTube to host the videos. But all the fun and interaction happens on the website, seedsofmusic.net. So if you're not signed up for that email newsletter, make sure to get on it. If you like this interview and want to share it with all of your friends, colleagues, and other musicians, make sure to go ahead and do that. You can click the like button, or you can share it using the little widget I put below this video that says share. And anything else, I don't know, Reddit, Pinterest. Gosh, there's so many, but it really doesn't matter. Whichever way you want to spread it, spread the message, and let's sow the seeds of music. How do you like that little tagline there? I was just trying it out for the first time. Comment and let me know if that tagline is stupid, because I want to come up with a really awesome one eventually, but if I do this alone and you don't help me out, I'm just going to say stupid crap. And lastly, comment on the video. What was your greatest takeaway from this interview? Personally, the networking stuff was the gold nugget for me. I mean, I don't get out as often, 3 to 4 times a week, at networking events, because of my own music that I'm creating at home and the job I'm working, and working on Seeds of Music is a handful. But I can tell you what, now at least I know, and it's something that I'm going to implement more in the future. So you should too. So go ahead and apply that. Get out. Go to meetup.com, create your own meetup, or find one that you connect with. It doesn't even have to be with music. It can be with hiking, but you may meet someone there who, gosh, you can collaborate on writing, or maybe they know someone in the industry. You can't assume. You can never assume. And last, who would you like to see interviewed, or would you like to be interviewed? Are you in a band and you want to see your shining faces on Seeds of Music? Totally hit me up, kyle.seedsofmusic@gmail.com. See you in the next interview.